23 News at 6.
We're glad you're with us tonight. I'm Lynn Brooks. Any moment now, we're awaiting a press conference in Walker County. Now, this is in regards to that ongoing search for Summer Buzbee. We're going to bring you that press conference live as soon as we can, as soon as that's made available to us. To take you back a little and give you some background on this, Summer Buzbee, last seen by a family member December 20th in Jasper. And since then, the Walker County Sheriff's Office has been holding multiple search parties. Investigators have actually recovered some of Buzbee's belongings. Investigators do believe Buzbee is likely a victim of foul play. Authorities have identified a person of interest, but so far, no arrests or charges in this case. Now, we've been following this story for you for roughly about 45, 46 days. It's been an ongoing search there in Walker County. One prominent member of that search party, Anaya Blanchard's mother. You may recall Anaya Blanchard was a very well-known missing persons case here in Alabama. She actually has been involved in that search along with several others in Walker County. We are going to take you now to that press conference. It's at the Walker County Sheriff's Office. Several officials standing by with new details, new information in the missing persons case of Summer Buzbee. Good
afternoon. I'm Sheriff Nick Smith. Unfortunately, this afternoon we come to you with a heavy heart. As most of you know, that our investigative team has been investigating a missing person since mid-December. That missing person was Summer Buzbee. After several organized searches over the last several weeks, today I can confirm that we have found human remains in a wooded area off of Old Russell Road in Jasper that we believe to be Summer Buzbee. I'd like to thank all of our volunteer groups that have assisted our Sheriff's Department and our investigative team over the last several weeks. We couldn't have done this without y'all. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to our major crimes investigator, Carl Carpenter, who has worked relentlessly on this case to give everyone an update on where we're at on this case and where we're headed on this case. Carl.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good evening, everybody. I want to start off by saying the family has been notified of our findings today. We are here with their permission to disclose information. Almost 7 weeks ago, Monday, we were advised of a situation where a young lady reported that her roommate had not been seen or heard from since December 17th of last year. We began a search. We found surveillance in the West Jasper area. We found independent witnesses that confirmed that she was seen out in that area, and then we lost touch with Summer. We began digging, we began searching, we began following up on leads, interviewing people. Those interviews led to, this was our fourth organized search. We would not have found Summer today without the assistance of groups like Anaya's Heart, Vet Dirty. The Saragossa Volunteer Fire Department today was assisting us, but on previous searches, other volunteer fire departments from across the county came together to help us. Today, we had a general area that we wanted to look at. This was because of witnesses in the area that had seen Summer and the person of interest that we're looking at in this investigation on surveillance cameras and walking up and down the road. Our investigators, after finishing their area, they showed some initiative moving up a railroad track from a direction that was kind of out of the area we had initially planned on. We some clothing was found. That clothing matched the size of Summer. They followed that up, following into a trail up along a power line. Then they found some other clothing and some personal items that we recognized to be part of Summer's attire when she went missing. With that, investigator Brad Curtis located the first of the remains, and then we all responded there. Once we were advised that we thought we had some human remains up there, I requested that Jefferson County's cadaver dog come out and assist us with Sheriff Petway's authorization and blessing. Deputy Drew Cleveland came out with his dog Cheeto. Cheeto did a phenomenal job for being a young dog, and located 2 or 3 additional items, 2 or 3 other bones that helped us. As part of our protocol, we have certain things that happen at certain timelines in an investigation. About the 4-week time mark, when we haven't located our victim, we start looking at getting additional things to put together so that we can send it off to NamUs. NamUs is a national group that helps us find missing people if they get away from our area. Among the things that we'll ask for are DNA from family members, dental records, medical records, things like that. Summer had some unique characteristics about her dental records. Based off of what her mother had explained to me, when I saw her skull, I made an assumption that it was Summer, but luckily, being a wonderful community that Jasper and Walker County is, it was very easy to get in touch with Dr. Jonathan Barnett, her dentist. He brought his medical records out, her dental records out, and confirmed that it was Summer. So we have good news in one way, in that we found Summer and we brought her home. Now, that just opens up, what do we do next? We find out what happened to Summer and how Summer got in this position and who did this to Summer, if that's the case. And that starts tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. with our first interview of our first witness, and then we go back through this investigation again until we find out what happened. Last week we gave an update as to where we were at with 6 weeks, and I came out and made a promise we would bring Summer home. Tonight I'm going to make the same promise. We're going to do everything we can to find out what happened to Summer, and if somebody caused harm to her, we're going to see that justice gets done. I've talked about the groups that have helped us, just been tremendous. I think the Buzbee family has just been so wonderful and patient with us. It's difficult sometimes to move at the time sequence that a family wants. They want things done now, immediately, right away. There's certain hoops that we have to go through to accommodate that. We don't always get to do it as quickly as the family wants, and they've been extremely patient with us. I also need to mention Mr. Joey Vick. He is the coroner from Walker County. As soon as we notified him of our findings this evening, he was out there immediately, and he will be personally taking Summer up to the autopsy lab in Huntsville tomorrow to see if we can find any determination of a cause of death.
You've been hearing from investigator Carl Carpenter there at the Walker County Sheriff's Office in the missing persons case of Summer Buzbee. Summer Buzbee's remains were found, according to officials there, after a 7-week search in Jasper, where those remains were found. The investigator pledging to find the person or persons responsible. Still no arrest in this case. We'll have the full story for you tonight at 10. Meanwhile, a medical team from UAB being praised for saving a man's life after an EF3 tornado devastated parts of Fultondale last week. Chelsea Barton live in our newsroom with the story.
Lynn, this action taken by the UAB medical team sounds like it belongs on a battlefield hospital, but their quick action did save a man's life. A UAB medical team of 2 doctors and 2 nurses responded to requests from first responders on the scene to free a man trapped under a tree that had fallen into his home during the storm.
It was a lot of adrenaline, a lot of emotion, but all of us knew that that Dr. Reeves, if anybody could do it, Dr. Gibson, Dr. Reeves could, and that we would be able to get him out. And so it was very emotional for many different emotions that we felt.
When they arrived, they realized the home was dangerously unstable due to the damage. However, the doctors and nurses were able to amputate the man's leg to free him.
The whole procedure in terms of, I think, controlling the airway, getting him anesthetized sufficiently, and then really the longest part, I think, was trying to secure the 2 tourniquets around his leg. With the way his leg was entrapped with the tree, took the most amount of time, I would say, but the surgical procedure itself goes pretty quickly, in the order of 10 minutes, I would say, ish.
UAB trauma surgeon Dr. Don Reef says the patient is doing extremely well today.
given the circumstances of, what happened, that he was in a overwhelmingly infected environment, in a non-sterile environment, undergoing a major surgical procedure. I think he's doing extremely well. I think his prognosis is good. He's going to do well clinically and get out of the hospital. The orthotics people have amazing technology to provide prosthetics, and I think he's going to have a normal life.
Looking back at a situation that could have had a much worse outcome, these doctors and nurses say they'll never forget working together to save this man's life.
The right people in the right place at the right time, all working together. It was really amazing.
It was definitely kind of an interesting thing of trying to figure out how to keep things clean, safe, do what we needed to do. But like Dr. Reef and everybody said, it was all of us. We've worked together, all of us. So luckily, we all have been a team for a long time and have worked together and learned a lot of trust and knew that we all were there for the right reason and that God had put us there for the right reason to help take care of this patient and do what UAB had trained us to do.
And if you'd like to help this family during this time financially, you can do so by visiting GoFundMe.com and searching Vasquez Hernandez Fultondale. Reporting live from our newsroom tonight, I'm Chelsea Barton, WVUA 23 News.
Thank you, Chelsea. A look now at COVID-19 numbers for our state. The Alabama Department of Public Health reporting 367,773 total cases, nearly 2,000 more than yesterday. Today alone, 1,666 Alabamians have been hospitalized with COVID-19. 252,880 people have recovered from the virus since the start of the pandemic. 6,624 Alabamians have died due to the virus since March. Daily COVID hospitalizations are now at the lowest point they've been since the end of November. Alabama Hospital Association President Dr. Don Williamson saying he's happy to see that number go down and for ICUs to have more space again. They were near capacity in mid-January. Williamson says our biggest mission now to keep wearing our masks, social distancing, and get vaccinated when we can to try and minimize the spread of the virus and its variants.
Is there risk of increasing the spread of the variant and increasing the rate at which the viral variants become the dominant strain, which are more infectious? So, I mean, we still have every reason to be cautious and anxious. I think after 11 months of this, I'm sort of, seeing ourselves living in the moment and celebrating the progress we've made while recognizing that there's still plenty of opportunity for things to go badly.
Dr. Williamson says while these numbers are getting better, they're still higher than what we were seeing during the state's July spike. He's urging everyone to keep wearing a mask, social distancing, and get vaccinated when you can. Alabama, along with nearly every state in the country, is now asking the federal government and drug manufacturers for more vaccine. Our state has been listed at or near the bottom of the list of states getting the vaccine into the arms of residents. However, state health officials say some of the numbers are misleading due to the underreporting in some counties and some delays in reporting. We spoke today with Dr. Karen Landers with the Alabama Department of Public Health that while managing the distribution of the vaccine is challenging, she believes all state agencies are doing the best they can given the vaccine supply.
We have had some data lags that has been corrected. We do have some entities that have not been able to give all the vaccine that they had ordered. We're pulling back from those entities and placing that vaccine where it can be given. We're trying to get more Pfizer vaccine out. We do know there's a challenge with that with our ultra cold storage, and not every place has ultra cold, but we're really trying to convert some of the sites over to Pfizer that now have ultra cold that will be able to allow us to use the Moderna in places that cannot manage that product.
Dr. Landers says large vaccine sites are being set up in 8 different places in the state, and announcements about those locations will come early next week. Coming up for you here on the news at 6, Alabama legislators say they'll work hard for the first 2 weeks of the legislative session. Coming up, what's at the top of their priority list? Stay with us. The story next.